Hi, my name is Rachel Roberts, and this is my introduction video for AEP 880. A little bit about myself. I was born and raised in Clay Center, Kansas. Clay Center is a small rural community. It's very conservative, and there's not a lot of diversity there. So that probably played a role in my background originally. However, after I graduated high school, I moved to Topeka, Kansas after I met my husband and went to Washburn. And so obviously Topeka has a lot more diversity and is a much larger city than a small rural community in central Kansas. So I think being exposed to a lot of different cultures here in Topeka has helped me grow a lot as an individual. Right now, I'm in my 5th year of teaching. All 5 years have been at Seaman Public Schools in North Topeka. I'm a proud Viking. I have taught 2 years of 7th grade English language arts. Prior to that, I did 3 years of 5th grade. I made the switch to middle school a couple years ago, and I am never going back. People always look at me like I'm crazy when I say that I went from elementary school to middle school, but middle school is where it's at, so it's definitely a fun environment. I have a master's, or I'm working on my master's in educational administration. Hopefully I'll have it done next fall. And then I'm married to my husband, David, and we have a 2-year-old son. A little bit about our cultural background. My family is not really close-knit anymore. I'm tight with my brothers and sisters, my parents, of course, but our aunts and uncles have kind of dispersed over the years. However, what I do know is just a little bit about my father's side and my mother's side. So my father's family is mostly Irish. My maiden name is Mayo. There's a Mayo County, Ireland, and I think my uncle's into the ancestry and genealogy. And he found that there were some ancestors still in Ireland that were descendants of some of my former ancestors, so that's pretty neat. My mother's family were Maguires. I can't talk. So they are Irish and Welsh, is what she says. Her oldest brother went to Ireland a couple years ago and found a Maguire castle. So I think that was a big part of who we used to be, but right now we don't really celebrate anything in the traditional Irish sense or in a Welsh setting either. My husband's family is Mennonite, and so even though that's not maybe a country culture, it's more of a religious culture. And to me, when I first met him, I was like, oh gosh, what does that mean? And actually it's very similar to Baptist, which was how I was raised. I had a lot of different connotations about what a Mennonite was, and that was wrong. So basically, since marrying him, I've learned more about the Mennonite culture, and in general, they seem to have more traditions than we do in the Christian faith, a little bit more, I guess, I don't know, they have more traditional foods, more traditional ceremonies, but overall, it's still a predominantly Christian faith. So in general, my family celebrates the traditional Christian and American holidays, such as Thanksgiving, Christmas, Easter, 4th of July, etc. Now let's take a look at some of the pictures I chose that describe who I am. So first off, I'm a wife to my husband, David. Like I mentioned before, he's a teacher, but he's also a coach at Perry Compton. So in a lot of ways, it's fantastic having somebody in the same profession as I am because I can talk to him about anything that happens at school. We get to share breaks, like right now. He's off taking a nap with our son while I'm working on school stuff, but at least we have the time off together, right? So having a teacher for a husband is awesome. This is our son, Levi, and he's 2. This is us on my first day of school, so he keeps us very busy. He's really sweet and intelligent, and he's just talking so much lately, but he keeps us very busy as well. Like I mentioned, my husband is a coach, so for Halloween we dressed up as a football family. So he teaches at Perry Compton, and they had a really good football season this year, so we were celebrating that in our Halloween costumes. Right now he's in the middle of wrestling season, so he coaches middle school and high school. So basically with wrestling, he's coaching from mid-October to March, the 1st of March, more or less. And so this is a really long stretch of him being gone on the weekends for us, but he loves it. We love going to watch him, so it's become part of who we are as a family. Another part of who we are as a family is just the fact that with that 2-year-old, we try to keep him very busy. And so we're fortunate in Topeka to have a wonderful Discovery Center, so we like to take him there as often as we can. Here we are meeting Llama Llama last month, which he adores Llama Llama. And so we like to keep him engaged, keep him learning in our community, and keep him busy through those types of explorative activities. This here is a picture of part of my family. My parents got divorced when I was 10 or so, and so my dad has remarried, and so my stepmom is here with a couple of my stepsisters, and then my brother's back there, and my sister. One great thing about having a blended family is there's lots of kids in the family, so this is nice because then my son gets to grow up with lots of kids around him. So this is most of my family. On the other side is my mom, so she never remarried. She actually came out as a lesbian when I was in middle school, which in a small town community was like the last thing I wanted, was the extra attention that brought at that time. However, even though it was really strange for me as a middle schooler, it really helped me grow up to be a more empathetic and understanding adult. So I think it has allowed me to embrace people's differences and try to get to know people better and advocate for people who maybe are discriminated against. So even though it was weird at first for me to embrace that new side of my family, it's actually paid off, I think, in helping me become a more well-rounded person. Okay, other aspects of who I am. We live on a farm right now, so we have 5 acres. We're really lucky to have that in this area because land is kind of hard to come by in the North Topeka area. On these 5 acres, we have a little hobby farm. Right now it's just chickens, but we've had goats and we've had donkeys and we've had all kinds of things prior to that. I think I'm probably a certifiably crazy chicken lady. I've got like 40 plus. I really honestly don't know at the top of my head how many I have at the moment, which is probably not a good sign, but you know, that's okay. But I like to raise them. This is one of my favorite girls, and I get to breed them because some of them are fancy breeds, and so I breed them and sell their chicks. So that's kind of my side gig. Also, since my husband and I are both teachers, we have the whole summer off together, which can be a good thing or a bad thing. Usually by the first week of break, I'm ready to tackle a project. And so when we bought our house, nothing had been updated since it was built in the 1960s. And so over the course of the last 3 summers, we basically flipped it. So we've remodeled everything. He'd probably kill me if he knew I put this picture on here, but this is him this summer finishing our basement. So we have a completely unfinished basement, but we started adding bedrooms to it this summer. So this is him getting ready to install a drop ceiling. So I've learned a ton about construction over the last few summers, and we keep very busy with that. Then over here I have a picture of my awesome teaching team. So at the Seaman Middle School, we teach in teams, and so we are the Viperfish. So these 3 ladies and I get first hour plan every morning, and these girls help keep me sane. I would probably go crazy with middle school without these ladies here, but they help me bounce ideas off of them. We laugh, we cry, we vent, we problem solve together on a daily basis, and it's just fantastic. Here they are looking over an assignment for me for my master's class. Last semester I had to make something and show it to people and take a picture, so these girls will put up with anything I need for them to help me be successful, and so I love having them on my team. And then lastly, being an ELA teacher, I love to read, and I'm always looking for new books to put in the hands of students or books that I can teach from. And so this was my summer reading list. I didn't get through all of them, but I brought maybe 3 of those home for this summer, or for this Christmas break, and so I've got 2 of the 3 done so far, so that's pretty good. So as you can imagine, I'm always reading or trying to better myself in that way. Usually it's young adult fiction for my students, but sometimes I go crazy and read a book just for myself too. So hopefully that taught you a little bit more about who I am. I'm excited to listen to some more of your guys' presentations and learn about you guys, and I hope you guys have a great semester.